你现在就练习。
我也没有发好。大家好，欢迎你们看第3个 Learn with John 雅思口语直播。所以我今天要谈论第一件事情，就是关于雅思口语考试3个部分的区别。所以我先要问大家一个问题，就是这个。OK， 问题刚刚发了，所以问题就是 What is the most important part of the IELTS speaking exam for students who aim to get a 6? For students who aim to get a 6， 所以这个问题是什么意思？不同雅思考生有不同的目的分数，所以如果你是一个已经有5分或者5.5分的水平，然后你的口语的目的分数是6分，那哪个部分是最重要的？所以我们有很多不同的回答。我们看一下，有2个人说 Part 1， 还有很多人说 Part 3， 有几个人说 Part 2。OK， 答案就是 Part 1。对于那些口语水平不是特别高，但是也许希望可以达到6分的那些学生 ，Part 1就是最重要的。我们雅思考官被训练的时候，那些雅思就是训练我们的那位老师，他说3个部分都一样重要，然后3个部分确实有一定的重要性，但是取决于你的级别，不同的部分有不同的重要性，所以第一部分对那些现在有5分或者5.5分或者更低的分数，然后希望可以达到6分的那些学生，就是最重要。第一部分就是最重要。为什么呢？因为如果你可以在第一部分发挥的不错，如果你可以听懂第一部分的问题，如果你可以提出一个也许不是很完美的，但是一个对每一个问题提出一个就要逻辑性的，会持续20多秒钟的回答。那你的考官第一部分走完了之后就会觉得 OK， 那个学生不错，他就应该就在6分到6.5分那个范围。然后当然，如果他那样觉得，然后你在第2部分和第3部分表现的超级糟糕，那你还是不会拿到6分。但是如果你可以在第一部分发挥的不错，然后你可以听懂几乎所有的一部分的问题，然后对每一个问题提出一个不错的答案，然后让你的考官觉得 OK， 那个学生的范围就是6分到6.5分的话，那只要你在第2部分和第3部分发挥的一般，就是不是特别糟糕，你应该能够得到6分。所以考试第一部分很重要，特别是对那些目前的水平只有5分或者5.5分那些学生，对级别比较高的学生也很重要。但是对于那些学生，如果你已经有7分或者更高的级别，那第一部分应该不是特别难，应该不太难。OK， 所以我们现在就可以开始练习，然后我们从第一部分开始。所以我不要告诉大家我们的第一个话题是什么，因为我希望第一个学生我想挑战第一个学生能不能听懂我问的这些问题。所以 如果你要做今天的第一个学生，你就可以举手，就可以 put up your hand. All right， 我们已经有一个学生，我等一会儿也需要其他的。OK， 有这个，所以我随便选一个 OK。第三个 Number 3. All right. Hello.
Hi, John. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. Yeah. What's your name?
I'm Sherry.
Hi, Sherry. Cool. Okay. Okay, Sherry. Your topic is all about being in a hurry or being in a rush. Okay. What kinds of things do you do in a hurry?
Well, I think it may be something that I need to do it in time. For example, maybe I need to attend a class in time, and sometimes it's I need to have a break between different classes, and I need to change a classroom. And if they are far away from each other, I need to rush to there. So I think this is an example of I need to rush to somewhere.
Thank you. Okay. And what would you never do in a hurry?
Well, I think it's mostly something I do it often. Maybe when maybe I need to go somewhere that I need to go every day, like the dining hall. I know what time I should be there, and I know what the situation could be. So I don't need to handle something that randomly happen. So I can be more graceful.
Okay. And are you usually in a hurry when you go out?
I don't usually do that. When I go out, I usually be prepared for everything. So I don't really very rush, very I just get used to prepare myself for something. So I'm not very rushed when I go out.
Okay, cool.
Sorry for
and
that.
The last question. Okay. Do you like being in a hurry?
Well, I don't like to be hurry, because when you are hurry, you don't know what should you do when you are facing some situation. It will be very awkward. When I'm for example, when I'm talking to my supervisor, I'd love to prepare some topics, and I don't just have some problems. I'll go talk to him because he might can't understand what am I saying. So I would like to cut it into small pieces, so we can have some.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, Sherry. I let you go on talking for a very long time there, but that's not your fault. That's my fault. Okay. Thank you. Well done. Okay. Okay. Cool. So I've got a few things I can help you with here in terms of feedback. Just give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. So 4 questions. Let's. I'm gonna put up the 4 questions so everybody can see them. So basically, for the first 2 questions, you did very well. And then for the second 2 questions, okay, but not as good. So let's see, and I'll put the questions into the text box as well. Okay. So there are 4 questions. So first good thing, you understood. So you understood all the questions. Well done, because this topic is a bit tricky for some students. They might not be familiar with the expression to be in a hurry or to do things in a hurry, but you knew what that meant, so you understood all the questions very well. Well done. And let's see. And you said some good things, like you were talking about when you might be in a hurry, and you were talking about classes, or like 2 classrooms. You said if they are far away from each other. So very good grammar there. Most students wouldn't get that grammar right, but you got it perfect. So yeah, if the 2 classrooms are far away from each other. So generally, your first 2 answers were very good. Your third answer was not bad, but you got stuck. You got stuck a little bit. So you didn't know how to say it. Like you were trying to say, I don't like to be hurry. I don't like. You were trying to say, I don't like to. But you didn't quite know how to finish the sentence. So, do you want to try that again? Have you thought of any way you could have finished that sentence in a better way?
I don't like to be in hurry. Being in a hurry.
Almost. Let's see what everybody. I wonder, has anybody else got an idea? So anybody at home, if you've got an idea how to say that. So basically, you're trying to express the idea, something like 我不喜欢着急, or something like that. No ideas? So okay, so we've got one person says, I'm not in a rush. Yeah, but it's I don't like to. It's not I'm not. I'm not into being in a hurry. Okay. So I think, yeah, I don't like to be in a hurry. I don't like to be in a hurry. Or somebody, yeah, Ray has got one here. He says, I don't like being in a hurry. Very good. Yes, I don't like being in a hurry. That would be good. So it's either I don't like to be in a hurry or I don't like being in a hurry. Okay. And let's see. No problem. All right. And one last thing. So you're getting confused between 2 expressions. This is a very common problem for a lot of people, right? So one expression is I'd like to, and the other one is I like to. And you're getting confused between these 2. So do you know the difference between these 2? When we might say I'd like to and when we might say I like to?
I'd like to is something you're about to do.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Good. Okay. It's something that you're planning to do or you wish to do. So for example, I'd like to go to the cinema tomorrow night. So that's like a plan, something that I plan to do or I hope to do tomorrow night. That's good. Another time we use I'd like to is when we wish we could do something but we can't do it. So for example, I'd like to I'd like to buy a big house but I don't have any money. So it's when there's something that we want to do but we can't do it. I'd like to buy a big house but I don't have any money, for example. Whereas what you should have said, you were talking about when you talk to your boss and how you want to prepare things to say when you talk to your boss and stuff like that. So what you should have been saying there is I like to. For example, I like to put it into, or to cut it into small pieces. And there was another time you said I'd love to, when actually you meant I love to. There's a very important difference between these 2 words. And a lot of Chinese students of English are in this habit of saying I'd like to or I'd love to when they should be saying I like to or I love to. So just be careful with that when you're practicing, Sherry. You could even, when you're practicing, you could record yourself and listen back to the recordings again and see have you got this right when you want to say, basically when you want to say 我喜欢做某一件事情. It's got to be I like to. It cannot be I'd like to. That's a completely different meaning. Okay.
Okay, got it.
Okay, good, but generally very good answers, especially your first 2. So thanks, Sherry. I'm going to get a couple of other students answer a couple of these questions now. So I'm going to pick a random student again, a random number 6 this time. Hello.
Hello, could you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. What's your name?
You can call me Lexi.
Lexi. Okay. Okay, Lexi. What kinds of things do you do in a hurry?
Well, firstly, if I'm in a hurry, I will let me calm down firstly, and then if I'm in a hurry, I always want to ask others for help to express my feelings and to ask for some help from others and to help me. Like if I, for example, if I'm looking for, if I lose my way, then I will ask others to help me.
Okay. What would you never do in a hurry?
Let me think about it. There are lots of things that I would never do in a hurry. For example, if I'm in a hurry, I would not cry because I'm seeking for the way to solve the problem. And okay, that's it.
Are you usually in a hurry when you go out?
Yes, sometimes, because if I go out and I always have an appointment with my friend, but I always go out a little late, so I always in a hurry to get to my destination.
Okay. Thanks, Lexi. All right, good. Okay. So about the phrase to be in a hurry or to do something in a hurry, I think you might have a little bit of a misunderstanding of the phrase. So the question number one, what kinds of things do you do in a hurry? What kinds of things do you do in a hurry? So it basically means like 你时间很急的时候做哪些事情 or no 你it's kind of like 你有哪些事情必须做得很快，你必须很快就完成。So it's kind of more like that. Whereas what you were saying was more like how you react when you feel stressed, which they can both kind of be to be in a hurry or to be stressed they can both be translated into like 很着急. But this one, to be in a hurry, it's just kind of to do with time and doing things quickly. So basically the first question number one, you could say that another way, like what kinds of things do you do really quickly, or do you try to get done really quickly? That's like another way to express that question. So you said, for example, I will let myself calm down and those kinds of things. So that's not really an appropriate answer. So question one, think about like what kinds of things do you do really quickly? I'll give you an example. So for myself, if it's what kinds of things do I do in a hurry? So usually if I get up late, then I'll try and brush my teeth in a hurry because I want to get outside and get outdoors, and I don't like to stay indoors for too long in the morning. Another example, what kinds of things do I do in a hurry? So usually if I'm cooking, I'll try and get the table ready in a hurry. So sometimes when I'm cooking, I forget to get all the plates and the chopsticks or the forks and knives and everything ready. So sometimes I have to do that in a hurry. It's something I have to do very quickly. Have you got that now? Have you got the meaning of the first question?
Okay, I get it.
Cool.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's try the first question again. So let's try it again. So what kinds of things do you do in a hurry, or another way, what kinds of things do you do very quickly?
Okay, every morning I usually do my things in a hurry because I want to finish the I need to get up quickly and to dress myself and go out quickly and to get to my workplace quickly so that I won't be late for my work.
That's better. Okay, good. Now you've got the idea of it. Okay, very good. Thanks, Lexi. Thank you. Cool. Okay. So next, I've got a question for you guys, which is, what are some other ways, or what are some synonyms of to be in a hurry? What are some other ways to say, for example, I am in a hurry, or what are some other ways to say to be in a hurry? So 有其他可以表达同样的那个 to be in a hurry 那个意思的表述嘛。So okay, we've got something. Yeah, we've got some. Good. Okay. So yeah, to do something very fast, to be in a rush. Good. To be in a rush. To rush. Good. To rush to do something. And to follow a tight schedule. It's a bit different. That's not quite the same. It's a bit different. But good. We've got some good ideas. To rush. To do something very quickly. Those are good ones. Let me give you some more examples. Okay, so here we have, let's say, 6 examples. They're not all exactly the same as to be in a hurry, but they all can be used as a substitute for being in a hurry in some situations. So, for example, to be in a hurry and to be in a rush, it's the same. That's exactly the same. To be in a hurry and to rush, it's similar. To rush just means to go quickly, or to do something quickly. And to do things in a hurry, it's very similar to be in a hurry. To be rushed, similar, but it's a little bit different. Usually if I say I'm rushed or I feel rushed, usually it's because of somebody else. So like my boss gave me lots of work to do and my boss made me feel rushed. So it's similar, but not exactly the same. To be pressed for time, just basically means to not have much time. If you want, you can say, I don't have much time. You could also say, I am pressed for time. They're both the same, basically. And then finally, to do things quickly. That's another way to say that. Okay, right. Let's go and get one more student on this for this topic. Okay, so I'm gonna choose a number. Number 4.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Okay.
I'm Lauren.
Lauren. Okay, cool, Lauren. All right. So what kinds of things do you do in a hurry, Lauren?
Well, actually, when I was in university, every morning, when I got up very late, I need to rush to brush my teeth and make up, and then I rush to the classroom. So that's one of the circumstances that I should to do everything as quick as possible. Secondly, is when before the deadline, if I have some papers to handle, I need to do it as fast as I can, because if I could not handle it.
Okay. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you. What would you never do in a hurry?
Oh, that's an interesting question. For me, I think it's before paying something, because I'm crazy about buying lipsticks and other cosmetics online, and I think I need to think twice before paying. So if not, I will buy too much stuff at my home.
Okay.
So okay.
Okay, let's do one more question, Lauren.
Okay.
Do you like being in a hurry?
To tell the truth, I don't like it. I prefer to organize everything well. For example, if I have an appointment with someone, I prefer to get up earlier and to do everything well before going out. I think that's better.
Very good. Okay, well done, Lauren. Well done. Good answers there. Very fluent,
thanks.
Very fluent speech. Very logical.
Oh, thanks.
So well done.
Merci.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. So let's see. I want to share a good sentence that you said there. That it's an expression that maybe some of the other students don't know. So you said, I need to think twice before paying or before buying it or whatever. I need to think twice. So to think twice before doing something, it means that it's like you reflect on what you're about to do before you do it. So Lauren's example was very good. She was talking about how she buys too many things, and she says, oh, I need to think twice before I buy cosmetics. So that was a very good example. Let me think of another example. So let's say somebody might say, I'm trying to lose weight, so I need to think twice before I go to the fridge and get food. So it means like before they go to the fridge and get food, they need to like think twice, or they need to think, oh shit, I'm trying to lose weight. I can't forget that I'm trying to lose weight. And so it basically means to reflect on something before you do something, to think twice before doing something. So that was a good phrase, Lauren. Native speakers use that phrase a lot, so well done.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, a couple of corrections in regards to cosmetics. So you said, I think you were talking about the morning. You said, I need to make up. To make up. So I know what you mean, but we can't say it like that in English. So does anybody know? Anybody else know? So if we want to say, 我需要化妆, how do we say that in English? Anybody else? Or even Lauren, can you think of how to say it?
I usually say to make up, but I don't know any other.
Most students say to make up, yeah, but it's wrong. Sorry. So we've got a couple of correct answers. Well done from some other students. So
to dress up.
To dress up is a little bit different because basically
I think it's like wearing something.
Exactly. To dress up is all about clothes. Yeah, to dress up is all about clothes, so it's different from this. So Giselle says to do my makeup. To do my makeup. Good. Yeah, you could say that. To do. Okay. So you could say, in the morning I brush my teeth and I do my makeup. You cannot say in the morning I brush my teeth and make up. You can't, but you can say in the morning I brush my teeth and do my makeup. And I see another good answer here. DJ. So DJ says put on makeup. Very good. That's good as well. So in the morning I brush my teeth and then I put on makeup. So makeup is in English. It's when you use makeup to mean 化妆 in English, it's like 化妆品. It's a noun. It's not a verb. You need another verb with makeup. So like do makeup or put on makeup. So it's like that. So you can.
Can I give? Could you please answer a question of me? When I was in high school, we say to make up, and we don't put make and up together like that. So could we use it to express we should do my makeup?
I'm not sure exactly what you mean by your question. Are you talking about the spelling? The
spelling. 就是把 make 和 up 分开，可以表示化妆动作吗？
这个单词有不同的拼写，所以你可以像那样写，就是一个词，然后你也可以把它分成两个就是 make up 两个词，然后你也可以两个词中间加一个，我不知道怎么说，英语也不知道怎么说，就是那个 dash， 就是我写一下。So 那样也可以 ，OK， 但是拼写不是特别重要的，最重要的就是你不应该用英语的 make up 做动词，不应该做动词。如果你用 make up 做动词，是完全不一样的意思，完全不一样的意思。make up 那个动词在英语就是，如果两个朋友吵架，然后过了一段时间之后，他们在聊天，在和好，然后他们再变成朋友，那就是 they made up. The two friends had a fight and then the two friends met up. 所以有不一样的在英语 make up 动词有不一样的意思。
Thanks a lot.
No problem. All right. And one more correction. It's related. So you said to buy some lipsticks. To buy some lipsticks. Does anybody know what's wrong here? So we can't really say buy some lipsticks.
Uncountable noun?
It is. Well done, Lauren. Yeah, it's an uncountable noun. So how could we say that? How could we say?
Buy some lipstick. A loaf of lipstick.
Good guess.
Lipstick.
Good. Yes. A piece of lipstick. Yeah, good. And you're right. You could say to buy some lipstick, or you could say to buy a piece of lipstick, or buy 2 pieces of lipstick. So any of those would be okay. But the key point is that it's uncountable. It's an uncountable noun. Okay. Thanks, Lauren. Very good job. Well done, and thank you. Okay.
Thanks a lot.
No problem. All right. Okay. 所以我们马上开始练习第2部分，口语考试第2部分。但是我也要提醒大家，如果你要跟我每个礼拜等一下，我不知道我按了什么。OK， 这里。如果你想每个礼拜至少每个礼拜2次跟我一起练习你的口语，那你可以参加我们 Learn with John 小组口语课。我们原来打算开一个学生的为什么？OK， 回来了。我们原来打算开一个小组课和一个小班的只有3个或者4个学生，然后一个中班有6到7个学生，但是几乎所有人都想参加那个小班的小组课的，所以我们要做现在的计划就是开2个小组的，然后一个已经订满了，第2个几乎订满了，还有1个位置，所以如果你想明天开始每个礼拜跟我做小组口语课的话，你可以练习0。然后如果你想，当然那个中班的，因为学生比较多，所以会便宜一点。但是我们现在不一定要不要看要不要开那个中班的。但是如果有很多学生都要做的话，那我们也会开。所以对那个中班有感兴趣的话，也可以练习到0，然后他会告诉你那个中班会什么时候开始。但是小班是明天开始，明天开了一个礼拜3的已经订满了，所以如果你想明天开始，就可以今天定位。最后，如果你打算，比如说你打算11月份或者是2月份，考雅思，然后你打算下个月开始练习你的口语，跟我练习你的口语，应该尽可能的早订课，因为我们已经有一些人订了10月份的课，他们打算11月份考雅思，所以他们已经订了10月份的，所以不要等到我们课都订满了。Okay, let's start practicing part 2. So today we're going to do 2 different topics. Yep. So I'm going to show you the first topic. I'm going to show you both topics. I'll show you both topics, and you guys can choose which one you want to answer. Okay. So I'm putting the topic in the text box. So there's one. So one topic is describe an occasion when you forgot something important. Basically, describe a time when you forgot something important. And I'll give you the second topic as well right now. Okay, this one is describe an old friend who you met after not seeing them for a long time. So every student should choose one, right? Every student should choose one. And I'll give you 1 minute to prepare, and then, yeah, ask some people to answer them. So 每个学生应该从那2个我刚刚发的那2个话题选一个，然后你们都有1分钟的时间准备，所以准备的时间已经开始了。 OK， 已经1分钟，所以我们第一个话题就是a time。Oh yeah, an occasion when you forgot something important. An occasion when you forgot something important. So if you want to try that topic, if you want to answer that topic, then put up your hand now. So 如果你想讨论 an occasion when you forgot something important, 你可以现在举手。OK， 好像没有人想回答这个，你们都准备了第二个吗？OK， 现在有。Right. Okay, I'm going to pick a random number. All right, number 3. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi. Nice to meet you. Or nice to talk to you. What's your name?
My name is Wells.
Okay.
Wells.
Okay, Wells. Cool. Okay. Wells, so I'd like you to describe an occasion when you forgot something important. Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this. Don't worry if I stop you. Can you start speaking now, please?
Oh, okay. I can talk about one thing I used to do, but I shall do, but I forgot to do. That is a very important test. About 1 month ago, I had a very important test about my sport lessons. I need to take part in that test, but I forgot that test because I was going with my friend. I was playing with my friend, and I totally forgot this test. Yep.
Can you tell me anything more about that?
Sure. And after this, I feel I'm really stupid. I forgot that so important test and choose to go hang out with my friends.
Okay, Wells. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thanks, Wells. All right. A couple of things. So first thing, you didn't speak for long enough. Okay.
Okay.
所以我要提醒大家，在口语考试第2部分，你应该尽量继续说话到你的考官说 "Thank you" 的那个时候。所以如果你可以持续说2分钟的话，到了那个2分钟那个时候，你的考官会说 "Thank you"， 然后你可以停止。但是他说 "Thank you" 之前，你都不应该停止。所以 Wells 你原来只说了50秒钟，50秒钟。然后，如果你提出那么短的回答，你的考官一直会说 "Can you tell me anything more about that?" 他一直会说 "Can you tell me anything more about that?" 然后那个就是提醒考生要多说话，要尽量说到2分钟的时间结束。所以那是第一个。第二个就是你那个考试我不太清楚是什么类型的考试。你说 a test about what? A test about what?
My sport lessons.
Sport.
It's called NSA test.
Okay, like 体育课 is that it?
对，差不多。
Okay, cool, right, okay.
体育类考试。
Okay, so yeah, it's not, we don't, in English, we don't really call that sport lessons. Does anybody else know, what do we call, in English, what do we call 体育课. Good, we've got a few answers. Yeah. So PE, we call it PE. And PE means, it stands for physical education. And that's what it stands for, that's what it means. But everybody generally just says PE. So what you were talking about, Wells, is I had a PE test. I had a PE test, and I missed my PE test. I forgot about my PE test. And okay, so that's how to say that. The other thing you said, I was playing with my friend. I was playing with my friend. No, I know what you mean. You mean like 我跟我的朋友一起玩. But that's not. It's not the same in Chinese. We can't directly translate that from Chinese into English. There's a difference between like to play and the verb 玩. So what, for example, so well, tell me exactly, what did you do with your friend? What were you doing with your friend exactly?
Okay, I was boating with my friend. I play
bowling. Boating. You're on a boat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Cool. Right. So okay. So then you should. The best way to say that is, I was boating with my friend. So be specific. Say exactly what you're doing. I was on a boat with my friend, or I was boating with my friend. And you could also say, I was hanging out with my friend. I was hanging out with my friend. And you did say that. You did say that later. But the reason that we can't say I was playing with my friend is because to play with your friends in English is generally like 小孩子会做的事情，就是玩耍那样。所以如果你说 I was playing with my friends， 别人会以为你是这样。Okay, and I don't think that's what you meant, Wells. I'm sure that's not what you were doing with your friend. And so you got to be careful with that verb to play in English, because it's not used as commonly as 玩 is used in Chinese. Okay, and so if you're like 6 years old, if you're 6 years old or 8 years old or 10, you can say I'm playing with my friends, or I was playing with my friends. But if you're like older than 15, it's kind of weird to say I was playing with my friends. We'd usually say I was hanging out with my friends, or I was doing whatever specific thing with my friends. Okay. Thanks, Wells. Okay, thank you for your answer.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's get another one. So I'm gonna try number 4. Okay, so I've actually got 2 questions to answer, but I'm going to try one more student first, and then I'll answer the questions together. So, okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hello, John.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Is your name Alina?
Yeah, that's right. I'm Alina.
Okay, Alina. Great. Okay, Alina. So, tell me about an occasion when you forgot something. Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this. Don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when your time's up. Can you start speaking now, please?
Well, looking at this question, and I think it wants me to talk about the most important thing that I forgot. And the thing that coming to my mind in Australia, and we're supposed to rent a caravan in Australia, but after me and my family got there, and we forgot that we only brought the original we only brought the translation version of our driving lessons, but not the original description. And it was happened in last year in May, and when we traveled in Melbourne, after we find the hotel that we find the hotel that we finished checking in, and we found that we forgot that. And I think it's due to we don't have a good habit of of checking things before traveling.
Okay. Okay,
and
okay.
we solved this all right.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks, Alina. Okay, pretty good story. So very logical answer, and that's like, it's a very realistic story. It's something that, I believe that story actually happened to you. So that's good. Also,
Yeah, it's a real story.
Yeah, sure. That's okay. That's very important. A lot of people in part 2 talk about things that actually never happened, and examiners don't like that. But anyway, that was a good logical story, and you explained it very well, and I completely understand the story. There was no like parts where I was like, what does she mean? It was all very clear. You spoke very fluently, so good. Overall, good.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, I'm gonna talk about maybe one correction. So you said we don't have a good habit of checking for our stuff, or we don't have a good habit of checking our stuff or whatever. So we can't say that. We can't say like to have a good habit of or to not have a good habit of. So do you know any other way to say that, or can you think of another way to say that, or does anybody at home know how to say that? No ideas, Alina?
Form a good habit.
So I think, right, so I think there's a couple of ways you could say it. We are or were not in the habit of. This is a bit complicated. So to be in the habit of doing something, it means she wants all my interesting. Okay, so you could say we were not in the habit of checking our stuff. We're not in the habit of checking our stuff. Or you could, so that's good. That's a good expression if you can remember it correctly. Maybe an easier one is we didn't usually. So we didn't usually check our stuff. So you could say we were in the habit of doing something, or we were not in the habit of doing something, or you could say we usually did something, or you could say we didn't usually do something. Any of those would be okay. Okay, and that was the main correction, Alina. So thank you. Good answer overall. Well done. You could definitely talk about that if you get this topic in the exam. Thanks, Alina. Okay, so we've got a couple of questions. I can see one question here, and there was another question from earlier that Lynn is going to find for me, but I'll answer this question first. So can I ask a question? If I keep talking until the examiner says stop, I have no time to sum up. I wonder, does it matter if I don't have a conclusion? And no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No, don't worry about that. So I would say, so you know that in the exam you've got, so you get your topic, and I'll show you an example here. So you get your topic, and there's usually 4 points to talk about. Okay, so I would say it's a good idea to try and talk about those 4 points. So here is an example. So with the next topic. So your main topic here in this example is an old friend who you met after not seeing them for a long time. Then you've got 4 points. So point number 1, who the friend was. Point number 2, where you met them. Point number 3, what you did when you met them. And point number 4, how you felt about meeting that person. So you'll always have 4 points. And it's a good idea to answer those 4 points, definitely. It's a good idea to answer those 4 points. But after you do that, it doesn't matter, just keep talking. Your story doesn't need to have like a conclusion where everything comes together. It's good, it's nice if it does that, but very often the examiner will have to stop you before you get to the conclusion, and it doesn't matter. It's not important. So it's more important to just keep talking and keep going until the 2 minutes are up. And so yeah, Lynn hasn't found that other question yet. It was back in part 1, and so I'm not sure if anybody woman told at the buffet the sure how you're in one went here and how忘记回答，所以你还有那个问题的话可以再发。Okay, let's do our so Ruby. So right, I think we found that, but no, that's definitely not the question I was talking about. Anyway, Ruby's question is it means I won't get ideal grades. I don't know what you're talking about, Ruby. I don't know in what context you're talking about. Says if I cannot fluently answer the question. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. So yeah, you won't get ideal grades. You have, ideal grades. What are ideal grades? That's 9. That's 9. So yeah, you're not going to get 9 if you don't answer the questions fluently. You're not going, so yes, it means you won't get ideal grades. Okay, let's try the second part 2. So the second part 2 was that question we just saw about a time when you met somebody who you hadn't seen for a long time. You met an old friend after you had not seen them for a long time. So if you want to answer this one, put up your hand. So 如果你有谈论这个再一次见到一个老朋友的话题，你可以举手。OK， 已经有几个人，所以OK， 我选1号 Ruby。 Hello Ruby, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, Ruby. So I'd like you to talk about a time when you met an old friend, I'd like you to describe an old friend you met after not seeing them for a long time. Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please?
Okay, I will just talk about my friend In. Well, when I was in high school, we sit nearby, so we became friends after we communicated several times about the study. But it was sad that since we graduated from the high school, we went to different cities to continue our college, and ever since then, we haven't contact with each other. And every time I went back to the hometown in the summer vacation, she was just accidentally have something to do, so we just missed. And just about last week, since it was about 4 years after then, I communicating with her about her future career. It means like I have to continue my study, and she just went to work. When we met, I gave her a hug, and I'm very delighted that we finally see her again. She just tell me about her relationship with her ex-boyfriends and talk about her work experience, and I just talk about my study and what I have learned in the experience.
Thank you, Ruby. Okay, well done. Good job, good fluency. So you talked there for 1 minute and 20 seconds, and I know you could have talked for longer, but I want to get on to some other students. So well done, good job, and a good story as well. So again, a believable story, quite a natural, normal story, very appropriate. Well done, and I understood all the story. There was no part where I was lost or confused. So that's good. So overall, a decent level of answer, Ruby. I'm going to give you 1 or 2 pieces of feedback.
Okay.
So let's see. And one time you said, we haven't contact with each other. So in English, we can't really say to contact with someone. We can't say to contact with someone. Do you want to try and say that again? Is there another way you could say that?
Lose contact.
Good. Okay. Yeah, you could say we lost contact.
Okay.
Yeah, we lost contact. You could even say we lost contact with each other. That would be good. Yeah. Well done. Does anybody else have more ideas? Anybody at home think how else could we say that? So, 我们没有联系了彼此，或者我们失去了联系。How else could we say that?
Oh, keep in touch.
Maybe somebody at home might have an idea of how to say this. No ideas? All right, let me. So you could say we didn't contact each other. So you can't really say we didn't contact with each other, but you could say we didn't contact each other. So it's not contact with each other, it's just contact each other. So you could say, for example, we didn't contact each other for 4 years, or we didn't contact each other for 10 years. Or you could just say we lost contact. Either of those would be okay. Let's see. So you said she accidentally have something to do. She accidentally have something to do. I know what you mean, but it's not accidentally. So accidentally means 你不小心做你原来不想做的事情. So that's like accidentally. And so any idea of how you could express that idea another way, Ruby? Or does anybody at home know what she was trying to say there?
By accident.
I think the word you were looking for is coincidentally. Coincidentally.
Oh, coincidentally. Okay. Oh.
I'm going to check the spelling of that because I'm not sure if the spelling is right. Just let me check for 1 second. Yep. So yeah, you could say for example, every time I went back to my hometown, she always coincidentally had something to do. Yeah. So the spelling is right. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Ruby. Well done. Well done. Good job. All right. And I'm going to do one more student. But first of all, I've got a question. I've got another question for you guys. So here I've got several different words to describe an IELTS Part 2 answer. So in IELTS Part 2, which of these words which of these words describe a good answer? So there's let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 9 different words here. So in IELTS Part 2, a good answer should be which of these words? So it's一个会说考官欢迎的 Part 2回答应该是什么样的？应该是 spontaneous 或者 memorized 或者 realistic 或者 amazing 或者 emotive 或者 true 或者 made up 或者 funny 或者 positive。一共有3个正确答案，所以你们觉得应该是哪三个单词？ Okay, we've got a few answers. A lot of people. So one person says realistic, true, positive. Okay, pretty good, but not perfect. Not perfect. Somebody says spontaneous, true, moving. Pretty good, not perfect. Not perfect. Spontaneous, realistic, true. Interesting. Realistic, true, positive. Let's see. Any more answers? No, just those answers. Okay. So this person, I'm trying to read your name. So it's VW7S7. This person says spontaneous, realistic, true. Yes, that is correct. A good IELTS Part 2 answer should be spontaneous. Should be spontaneous. It should not be memorized. Okay. It should be. You should be forming these words for the first time. It should not be a memorized answer. It should be a spontaneous answer. That's number one. Examiners hate. They really, really hate memorized answers that you've practiced 100 times and that you've read. Somebody has written down and then you've studied it really intensively, and then you get to the exam and you say it out loud. So, number one, your answer should be spontaneous. It should not be memorized. Now, if you spend a little bit of time looking at the IELTS topics and you think of an idea, let's say you think of an idea about what you are going to say for each topic, that's okay. That's not memorizing. That's just thinking of a general idea about what you're going to say. If you practice talking about that idea, if you practice doing these answers, these Part 2 answers, that's okay as well. It's not memorizing. You're still going to sound natural when you speak. So the point is, your Part 2 answer should be spontaneous. It should not be memorized. The other ones, realistic. So it should be something that could really happen, like what I said to the student who I talked to about going to Australia and forgetting that she needed a translation of her driver's license. So that's realistic. It sounded like a story that could happen. The last student that we had, she talked about how her friend moved to another city and she hadn't seen her friend in 4 years. That's realistic. It's not amazing. It's very believable. So that's number 2. And then it should be true. So you should be talking about things that actually happened. Most candidates talk about ridiculous things that they obviously never did. Things that they tell stories that the examiner listens to the stories and the examiner knows this story never actually happened. This is not true. This person is lying. This person is lying to my face. And the examiners really don't like that. They don't like when people lie to their faces. And they don't like when people tell ridiculous stories that obviously never happened. So these are the 3 things you want to aim for in your answer. It should be spontaneous, not memorized. Spontaneous. It should be realistic. It should be true. We could just say actually it should be spontaneous and true, because if it's true, then it is realistic. If the story is true, then it's a realistic story. So the 2 key points: even spontaneous and true. Those are the main points. Your story does not have to be amazing. You don't try and tell an amazing story and fascinate the examiner. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to tell an amazing story about some boring topic in 2 minutes. It's impossible. So don't try and do that. Just try and tell a true story. The story does not need to be emotive. Please don't talk about your grandmother who died and start crying in the exam. You might be surprised, but lots of candidates do that, and it's horrible. Examiners hate it. So you don't have to tell an emotive story. Just tell a true story. Obviously, you shouldn't tell a made-up story. I've already said that. It doesn't have to be funny. It doesn't have. Some people think that their story again has to be kind of amazing or special or funny or something. It doesn't have to be funny. It's almost impossible. Like you get a boring topic like a time you forgot something or whatever, a science subject you're interested in. It's impossible. You're not going to be able to tell a funny story about a science subject you're interested in. Even for a native speaker, with 2 minutes to talk about that topic, it's going to be almost impossible to tell a funny story. So it doesn't have to be funny. Finally, your part 2 answer does not have to be positive. It doesn't have to be positive. It just has to be true. So even if you're complaining, even if you're, let's say you get a topic about a teacher, even if you're talking about the worst, if the topic is describe a teacher you admire or describe a teacher you like, then of course that has to be positive. But if it's just describe a teacher, you don't always have to talk about a teacher that you loved. You can talk about a teacher that you hated. That would be fine. That would in fact be more interesting for the examiner to not always talk about stuff that's positive. So the only 2 or 3 things that your answer needs to be in part 2. 1 is spontaneous, 2 is funny. 1 is spontaneous, 2 is true, and 3 is realistic. But if it's true, it's going to be realistic anyway. Okay. It does not need to be any of these other things. All right. Let's go and do one more practice of part 2 of this part 2 topic. So I'm going to choose one more student, and I'm going to go for number 2 this time. Hello. Hi, can you hear me okay?
Hi. Yes, I can hear you.
Great. Okay. All right. So let me see. So I'd like you to talk about I'd like you to talk about an old friend who you met after not seeing them for a long time. Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this. Don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please?
Okay, I'm now going to talk about an old friend who I met after not seeing her for a long time. He actually was my best friend when I was in high school, and we were actually desk mates. So as you can imagine, we had a really good relationship. We had experienced a lot of time together. And after graduating from high school, she went to study in America. And as far as I can remember, after 1 year when she studied abroad, I realized that she was disappeared in my life, and I thought maybe she just really enjoyed her life in America. That's why she didn't want to contact me. And after 3 or 4 years, all of a sudden she contacted me and told me she was in China, and she asked me to eat out together in a restaurant. and I felt so excited. We talked a lot about, and I remember the question I always ask her is that why you didn't contact me, and she said because she felt really embarrassed because all of her classmates were graduating from university and they got good job, but she was still studying in America, and she felt really lonely. She did experience a tough period of time, and that is why she didn't want to contact anyone. Yeah.
Thank you. Well done. Okay. Sorry, I forgot to ask your name. What's your name?
Maggie. My name is Maggie.
Maggie. Okay. Well done.
Yeah.
Great answer, Maggie. Great, very good quality answer. So very fluent. You sounded like you could have kept talking for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, no problem. Very good vocabulary. I'm going to highlight some of the vocabulary you used for the other students. Let's see. So you said, so one time you said that's why she didn't want to contact me. So that was well done. You used that expression correctly. So not to contact with me, but that's why she didn't want to contact me. Very good. You said when she contacted me, you said we arranged to eat out. Excellent. To eat out just means to eat in a restaurant. You use that correctly. Most students say to eat outside, which is a different meaning, but you used it right. So another way to say to eat in a restaurant is just to eat out. And so we arranged to eat out. Very good. And then another good one, you talked about when she was in America, she got really lonely. So that's a very good word as well. Pretty common word in English, but a lot of students don't know that word. So so in Chinese it's jidu. So, or gudu, I guess. Yeah. Gudu. Yeah. Sorry. Gudu. Yeah. Sorry. So very good. That's a common word that native speakers use a lot, but I don't hear students using it very often. But you used it correctly there. So there isn't really any corrections for me to give you, Maggie, except that you got you're having trouble with pronouns. You're having trouble with he, she, her, and all those things. So you let it. So one time you said he, and then another time you said like he and him, and then you corrected yourself. So you're just having a little bit of trouble with those, but otherwise there were very few mistakes, and you produced a lot of good sentences, a lot of accurate sentences. So thank you, Maggie, and well done.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Yeah, when I start the first sentence, do I need to paraphrase, like change another way to say an old friend, which is different from the sentence in the written in the card? Do I need to change to paraphrase?
That's a good question. And I kind of talked about this question last week. So I'm going to see if anybody remembers from last week, and I'm going to ask everybody. Does anybody remember? So last week I said there are two ways that you can start your task 2. There are two sentences you can use at the start of your task 2. Does anybody remember? 有没有人记得在开始你的第二部分回答的第一句话应该说什么？我说的你只要学会这两个说法就够。第一个对 ，so yeah, Lorraine 说的就是 I am going to talk about. So here, so that's how you can start every part 2, Maggie. So let's say for this one, so the topic was an old friend who you met after not seeing them for a long time. So here you just say, I'm going to talk about an old friend who I met after not seeing, here in your case, her, after not seeing her for a long time. So you don't even need to paraphrase. You just use this opening, this sentence opening. I am going to talk about this. That's perfect. It's easy to remember. It's not a mistake. The most important thing you can do in your first sentence is not make a mistake. It's the same in writing. It's in your IELTS writing. The most important thing you can do in your first sentence in your IELTS writing is not make a mistake. And here you can just say, I'm going to talk about, or I'd like to talk about. I'd like to talk about a friend who I met after not seeing her for a long time. So that's how you can start your part 2. Is that clear?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, cool. All right,
yes,
no problem. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, okay, cool. All right, let's listen to a native speaker. A very intelligent, very handsome Irish native speaker who is answering one of these questions. Sorry, I forgot to turn off your mic, Maggie. who is answering one of these questions. So let's see what I would say if I was given this, if I was taking the IELTS exam and I was given this topic. So actually, I'll do, because I've recorded the one for a time I forgot something. So a time, so yeah, this is my answer for a time that I forgot something. I'm going to talk about the time when I forgot my bag in a cafe where I had lunch in my hometown. So the cafe is a Western-style cafe. It's quite popular. A lot of people go there to have lunch, or they go there at different times of the day to have coffee, or sandwiches, or salads, or cakes, and things like that. And sometimes I used to go there to eat. On this particular day, I had lunch there, and I had my bag with me, and there was a lot of important stuff in my bag, like some schoolwork and my iPad and some books and some IDs, and I had some cash in the bag as well. I had the bag on the table just beside where I was eating, and I don't know why. I must have got distracted by something, or I must have been looking at something on my phone, but I got up to pay the bill and I completely forgot about my bag, and I walked out of the cafe without my bag. So I started walking towards my school, and I must have been walking for about 10 minutes when I got a strange feeling that I was missing something, and I immediately realized that I had left my bag in the cafe. So I was quite shocked, because I was really afraid somebody was going to steal my bag before I got back there. So I ran back to the cafe as quickly as I could. I got there a few minutes later, and I looked at my table where I had been sitting, and the bag was not there. So I was now really worried, and I was really getting sure that my bag had been stolen. So I went up to the counter, and the guy at the counter was really busy because they had a lot of customers that day. So he just looked at me, and he immediately grabbed something under the counter, and it was my bag. And obviously I was really thankful. I said, "Thank you so much." And he didn't really pay much attention to me because he was so busy. But I was really very relieved to get my bag back, and I don't know why I made such a silly mistake of leaving my bag with so much important stuff in it in that cafe. Okay. So there was an example of how you could answer that part 2 topic. So again, so there you can see, not an amazing story, nothing incredible happened in that story. It's not like very emotional or emotive or hilarious or amazing or anything. It's just a simple story. A person forgot their bag in a cafe. They went back, they got the bag. That's it. And there were no real big words, no real really high level vocabulary. Because why was there no high level vocabulary? Because I'm just talking about a simple thing. It's very simple. I just forgot my bag in a cafe. That's it. There's no need for really long words, or there's no need to use the type of words that I might use if I was writing a novel or if I was writing a poem. I'm just telling a simple story, and that's what your part 2 answer should be like. Just a story, something that happened to you, and try and say it in the clearest, most direct, simple way that you can think of, and that will be an excellent part 2 answer. Okay. Right. Okay, one more quiz question. So earlier, I asked you guys about the most important part of the exam for people who want to get 6, who are aiming for 6. Okay. Now I've got a similar question. So this question is, what is the most important part of the IELTS speaking exam for students who aim to get a score of 7+? So if you want to get over 7, let's say, for example, you're already at 6.5 and you want to take the exam again and you really need to get more than 7, what is the score that you need? Okay, we've got a few answers. So most people are saying 3, some people are saying 2. No more ideas. 2 and 3. You can't choose 2, Ray. You gotta choose 1. There's only 1. Okay. So good. Most people have got it right. It's part number 3. Now remember, as I said earlier, the IELTS officially, they're all equal. Officially from IELTS, they'll say that part 1 and part 2 and part 3, they're all equally important. But really, in the real world, when you've been an examiner for a long time, you kind of know that for higher level students, part 3 is the most important. Because if you're at level 7, and let's say you're at level 7 and you want to get 7.5, part 1 should have been pretty easy. If part 1 wasn't easy, then you're probably not level 7. And part 2, honestly, examiners don't, especially examiners in China, don't pay very much attention to part 2. They don't. They sometimes they listen to part 2. Sometimes they don't listen to part 2. Sometimes they think about their lunch, or they think about their wife, or think about somebody else's wife, or lots of, or who knows what they think about. But they often don't pay a lot of attention in part 2 because a lot of candidates don't tell true stories. A lot of candidates just tell memorized, made-up nonsense. So the examiner thinks, okay, I don't have to listen to this. I'll think about something else. And then in part 3, the examiner can ask questions that the examiner really wants to ask, and the examiner can kind of form their own questions and change the wording of questions. And in part 3, the examiner will really find the candidate's level. They'll really find the candidate's level. So if a candidate seems pretty fluent in part 1 and part 2, the challenge will really come in part 3, and the examiner will think to them, or the examiner will say, okay, I'm going to find, is this person really a 7.5, or is he or she just a 7, or maybe just a 6.5, or whatever. Part 3 is also more difficult. So part 3 is more difficult than part 1 because in part 1, you're just talking about yourself and simple things like, do you like to drink coffee? Like, how often do you go for a walk? Like, what time do you get up in the morning? Simple things about yourself and your life. In part 3, you're talking about more abstract things about the world in general. So you might be talking about relationships between, let's say, relationships between big businesses and governments or something like that. Or you might be talking about all the habits of old people in your country versus the habits of young people. You've got to compare different groups of people, and you've got to talk about phenomena that happen in the world and lots of different stuff. So for higher level candidates, part 3 is the most important. And when you're practicing for IELTS, when you're doing IELTS speaking practice, you should probably spend a lot of your time, maybe most of your time, practicing part 3 if you're that level of a candidate, if you're already at like level 6.5 or level 7. Whereas if you're at a lower level, then you should really make sure that you get good at part 1. So if you're at like level 5 or level 5.5, the first thing you should do is make sure you get good at answering simple part 1 questions. Okay, glad everybody understands that. All right, let's move on and do this most important part of the exam for those higher level candidates. 所以我们去练习口语考试第3部分。我们有同样的那2个话题。所以我也不要告诉大家我要问的问题是什么。所以我希望第一个学生就可以听我在问的问题，可以尽量听懂我问的问题，然后我以后会把这些问题发给其他学生。OK， 所以我们已经有5个人举手。所以我选一个。然后我们的第一个话题就是那个关于忘记东西的话题。So it's all about forgetting things in general. All right, I'm going to try number 1. Hello, Julia, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, Julia. Hi, I can hear you.
Hi, John.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool, okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Cool, so we're talking now about forgetting things in general, just generally forgetting things. So what kind of people are most forgetful?
I guess sometimes old people are more forgetful than young people. That's likely because when your brain gets older, it gets more kind of dysfunctional, and your mind is perhaps not as sharp as when it was when you're younger. So,
okay.
Generally,
very good.
old people are
apart from old people, any other type of people?
And also some people although they are young, they are by nature forgetful, and especially when these people they don't have a habit to make a list to help them remember things. They just live their lives spontaneously, and sometimes they just forget everything, especially small stuff. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Is it a good idea for people to set reminders on their phones to stop themselves from forgetting important things?
I think generally yes, because in modern life people all have their smartphones all the time in their hands. So if they put some really important stuff into a reminder on their phones, they will check the phone, and when they check the phone, they will always be reminded that there's an important stuff to do.
Okay. Okay, last question. What can a person do to improve their memory?
As far as I know, some people they take medicine, not really medicine, but kind of like dietary or some food complement or so, and and some people they believe some plants or some plastic or some fruit can make them memorize things better. Also, some people they take other actions like just like I said before, getting a to-do list on their phones, or just have a piece of paper to remind all the things they should do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you. Okay, Julia. Great job overall. Very good job. Especially your first two questions. Lots of excellent vocabulary. And very few mistakes in your first two questions. There were really very few mistakes, but lots of really good vocabulary. Your third question, you had a few mistakes that I'm going to talk about, but still overall excellent answers, especially your first two. So let's see. I'm gonna first share a couple of the good expressions that you used. So one, I think you said older people are not as sharp, or something like that. They're not as sharp as younger people. So this is a good to be sharp. To be sharp, it just means kind of like to be clever, kind of like to be intelligent, but it means to be able. It also kind of means to be able to think quickly, to be able to think very quickly and respond to things very quickly. So that is to be sharp. And you can say, like Julia said, maybe older people are not as sharp as younger people. Excellent vocabulary there, Julia. Another time you said live their lives spontaneously. I can't remember what you were talking about, but you used the word spontaneously correctly as well. So a lot of very good vocabulary throughout your answers. Let's see. In your third question, a couple of little mistakes. For one thing, you said if there's an important stuff to do. Do you know what's wrong there?
Stuff is uncountable.
Yeah, exactly. Good. So how could you say that?
An important thing or something important.
Yes, perfect. Yes. If there's something important to do. Good, well done. And then there was one word you couldn't quite think of. You explained it okay, but you couldn't quite think of exactly the word you wanted to say this. So it's the thing that people take to improve their brain. So I'm pretty sure you're trying to say like yin yang ping. Is that what you were trying to say?
Yes.
Not medicine.
Yes,
Okay, good.
exactly.
Does anybody know what to say, or does anybody know how to say that? Somebody's saying nutrition. Not really. Not really. Nutrition is just like good food, and that's kind of nutrition. So like healthy food is nutrition. Health medicine. No. Let's see. Okay, so it should be supplements. Somebody said healthcare products. Okay, that would be okay as well. That would be okay. But the most common way we would say that, most common way we would say 营养品 is supplements or dietary supplements. So you could say some people take supplements to improve their brains, or some people take supplements to improve their memories. Either of those would be okay. But overall, Julia, excellent job, excellent answers, very good vocabulary, very few mistakes. So well done, and thank you for your answers. Okay, let's get one more for this topic. So I'm going to choose number 4 this time. Hello.
Hi. Hi, John.
Hi. What's your name?
You can call me Wang.
Juan.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. So what kinds of people are most forgetful?
Most forgetful, I think, those people who are not busy. Do you know the waitress? They don't have to write. They don't have to write. They can remember which dish goes which table, and because they do this thing every day. And if you are not busy, if you don't use your brain, they just broke.
Okay. Is it a good idea for people to set reminders on their phones to stop themselves from forgetting important things?
Yeah, totally. Phone is a good helper. And it's always better to have someone or something to help you to remember something.
Do you think people these days rely on their phones too much to record stuff and to help them remember stuff?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Sure. Do you think people these days rely on their phones or depend on their phones too much to help them to remember stuff?
No, I don't think so. As I mentioned before, phone is a good helper. You do everything on your phone.
But some people would say that if you rely on your phone to remember stuff, your brain is going to get worse at remembering things. Is that not true?
I don't think so. I think phone is a it's like when you want to remember something, you put on a to-do list, and use your phone. It's just put on your to-do list in your phone rather than a paper, right?
Okay. Thank you. Thanks very much. All right. So that was a good piece of vocabulary there at the end, a to-do list. Okay, so like to write a to-do list on your phone, it means that you write down all the things you want to get done. So that was good. So your first answer was good as well. So you gave a very good example of a waitress or a waiter. And so at first I thought, oh, maybe she doesn't understand the question. But then you logically explained how that if you were the opposite of like a waiter or a waitress, then your brain will kind of get worse. So that was a very good answer, your first one. And just so the second question then was about putting reminders on your phone. And you'll notice there that I challenged you. I challenged your opinion there on that one. And I kind of made up my own questions. And this happens a lot in part 3. So in part 3, your examiner can make up his or her own questions as long as they're about the topic. So the examiner will always, or will almost always, try and challenge the candidate in one way or another in part 3. Now, so I was asking you, would saving everything on your phone not make your brain weaker? I don't think you really answered that. I don't think your answer was very complete for that question. So like the basic idea was, 如果你用你的手机记录所有你要做的事情，那你的大脑也许你大脑的记忆力也许会弱化。So it was kind of,会不会弱化? It was kind of that idea of a question. I don't think you you really answered that. Did you?
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay. But so yeah, I'm not sure you kind of got the last couple of questions, but your first answer was very good, and your basic level of fluency and pronunciation all very good, very clear. So thank you for your answers. Okay.
Thank you for your time.
No problem. All right. Okay, we should probably do the last topic now, as we're already almost out of time. And so our second topic, of course, was about a friend who you hadn't seen in a long time. So these questions will all be about staying in contact with friends. So I'm going to choose a person. We'll just get 2 students to answer 2 questions each, because we've gone over time. So I'm going to choose the first one, number 6.
Hi.
Hello, hi. Okay.
Hello.
What's your name?
Hello. Hi. Maggie.
Oh, Maggie. Okay. It's Maggie again. Back again. Okay. All right, Maggie. Okay. So these questions are all about staying in contact with friends. So why do people often lose contact with their friends from school?
I think there are a couple of reasons. Something like after graduating from high school or middle school, they have different lives. They might have different jobs. They get married. They have kids. They have much pressure from different areas of life. So they might be busy, so that they can't really have time to contact their friends. And also maybe they think they have different opinions on something, so they don't want to contact each other anymore.
What effect does social media have on friendships?
I think being able to use social media is really a good way for people to keep in touch. Like now we have WeChat, we have Messenger, and that's really a good way for people to contact their friends anytime, anywhere. And in compared to past time, we have to always write letters, and it really takes a long time for people to get a reply from their friends or their relatives. So yeah, having social media is really a good, convenient way for people to keep in touch.
Thanks, Maggie. Okay, great job. Great answers. Very well done. Very fluent. Very logical again. I'm going to talk about one thing. So one thing, I talked about this last week. If anybody was here if anybody was at this class last week, they might remember the problem here. So you were talking about some kind of people, and you said they have much pressure. They have much pressure. Do you know what's wrong there, Maggie?
Pressure is uncountable now.
Pressure is uncountable. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Pressure is uncountable. So that's not the problem.
Big pressure. Under pressure.
Not really. Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. So how would you say that? How would you say it would under?
People always
Christina,
under,
if you know, you can write
under
it.
Big pressure.
So they what? 他们压力很大. How would you say that?
They are under big pressure.
Good. Okay. Good. They are. You could just say they are under pressure, or they are. You could say they are under big pressure. We'd probably say they are under a lot of pressure. They are under a lot of pressure. So, the problem was much. So you can't say they have much pressure, because it's a simple positive sentence, and we can't really use much in a simple positive sentence. And we can only use it in like a question, or a negative sentence, or an emphasis sentence. Like you could say they are under too much pressure, but you can't really say they are under much pressure. You can just say they are under a lot of pressure, right? Okay, but that was the only kind of important thing. The other mistakes you made were really tiny mistakes, and you made a lot of good sentences. So thanks, Maggie. Good job. And I'll do one more, students. Let me see, random number 3. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Good evening.
What's your name? Yeah, what's your name?
Yeah, my name is JC.
JC. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, or Jesse. Jesse or JC?
Yeah, that's fine. It's just a name.
Okay, but why don't you tell me which one it is? They're 2 different ones. So is it Jesse, or?
Oh no, it's Jacey. That's my spelling.
Okay. I don't think that's a name, but
Yeah,
oh,
it's
okay. I think I see it now. Okay, JC, like that maybe. Okay, cool, right, okay. All right, okay, JC. What effect does social media have on friendships?
I think it's most useful for the long distance friends. You know, it means you can contact with your old friends, your family, or someone else in real time, and you can share with them about your story and your work and your study. So I think it's cool. It can make people get a closer relationship.
So only positive effects, you think? Just positive effects?
Maybe I know there is two sides at the social media. And sometimes people will take their phone the whole day, and but I think for the friends, I mean, especially the close friends, we wanna share with them about our inner heart stories, and they can help us to comfort the uncomfortable feelings when we'll go through some bad things, some struggles.
Thank you.
So
Okay, last
for
question.
me, I think.
Thank you. Last question, Daisy. Is it easier to make new friends now than it was in the past?
I mean, in 2020, it's not easy for all of us to make the new friends because actually, especially in the young people, we need to find someone who can have the lot of points in common, and also we can find it more difficult for us to talk with people because maybe we have our own things to do. We have our careers, we have our papers to deal with, and also we need to focus on how to earn money to make ourselves live. So I think
Okay.
sometimes.
Thank you. Well done. Good. So very good answer there to that last question. So very logical, clear answer. All your answers were pretty clear and logical and made sense. So overall good performance and good vocabulary, decent grammar, not many grammar mistakes. Maybe not as fluent as some of the other students we've heard today. So your speed of speech is a little bit maybe a little bit slower than it would need to be to get like 7 or higher, let's say. So I'd say work a little bit on your fluency. And what do I mean by work on your fluency? I just mean practice speaking. You know, if you practice speaking a bit more and you do a lot of listening, your fluency will naturally develop. So your fluency is not bad.
Yeah.
It's just that it's probably the part that needs to improve the most. Okay. So, but good accuracy in your speaking, so not many mistakes. One, maybe two, right? 2 little corrections. So, one, again, another one. You said contact with friends. You said you about social media. You said you can contact with friends. So no, you can't contact with friends. You can just.
I contact.
Anybody know? Anybody at home know?
Not without with.
Exactly. So you can what? You can
contact friends.
Exactly. You can contact friends. Very good. And at one time, you said we can talk about our inner heart stories. And so that's not really an English expression. So let's think about how we could say that. So maybe not our inner heart stories. We could say something like, we can talk about our inner feelings, or probably a native speaker would just probably simply say, talk about our feelings.
Feelings, okay.
So we definitely can't say talk about our inner heart stories. We could say talk about our inner feelings, but a native speaker would probably most likely say we can talk about our feelings, or even talk about our true feelings or our real feelings. Any of those would be okay.
Feelings,
okay, thank you very much. Good job. Thanks a lot for your contribution. Okay. OK， 今天的课也马上就要结束，所以谢谢大家参加。要提醒大家一些事情。第一个就是，口语课要少班，也许要中班还不一定。但是如果你要从明天开始参加我们 Learn with John 雅思少班的口语课，就可以连续练还有一个位置。第二，写作，你们都在准备雅思，我觉得，所以你也要准备写作考试，所以我可以帮助你在1个月或者最好就2个月之内提高你的写作分数。基本上有2个不同的写作课程，有步步学的那个是比较简单，你可以在几个礼拜之内就完成的，然后有另外一个比较就是比较完整的写作课程，也可以参加那个。然后最后我忘记我应该以前已经说到过这一点，我们从今天开始就可以你们从今天开始就可以买我们 Learn with John 40天教材。这个40天教材是什么东西？就是基本上就是一个你在连续40天都可以密集学习的英语教材，然后里面的话题就是最近的那些雅思 Part 2话题，要学习40天教材的方法就是用 shadowing 就是音字跟读法，然后双向翻译就是bidirectional translation， 然后在连续4天密集学习一个短的作文，然后把它学到你基本上所包含的英语表述你都可以记住，然后你基本上都可以说话的时候写作的时候用。所以我们今天就要发布最新的那个40天教材，你有感兴趣的话链接就在这儿。OK， 谢谢大家参加今天的直播课。礼拜四也有一个直播，下个礼拜一也有一个直播，不要忘记点评给我们有星吗？给我今天打分应该有5星吧？有多少星？5星就好，5星就够了吧？不要给6，5个就好。Okay, thanks everyone. See you next time. See you on Thursday or maybe tomorrow in the class.